if what I think is happening, it better not be. And what's happening is that we're covering Fantastic Mr. Fox today on The Swamp. Whistle a little closer to the mic. I can't whistle good. Like,
Just catcalling Mr. Fox.
Do you whistle? Do you suck in or blow out?
I blow out, but when I learned how to whistle, I would just suck in.
So you're a reformed woman.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you?
That's how you whistle, dude.
You blow out?
Yeah.
Oh, I suck in.
That's why you'll never succeed. That's why you'll be a failure of a
Whistler.
Yeah, no, you can never be a top-notch whistler.
I will never be George Clooney as a claymation fox.
No.
It's just not in the cards for me. So here on The Swamp, which is an acronym
for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
Some whack-ass movie podcasting. And today we're going to be covering the 2009 Wes Anderson claymation film, Fantastic Mr. Fox, based off of the children's novel by beloved author Roald Dahl.
Classic. Iconic man.
Yeah, did you enjoy this movie?
I loved this movie. So you've both seen it before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen this movie before, and honestly, I had pretty high expectations for it, but it kind of even blew those out of the water. I was just very entertained, and it was very fun.
Yeah, it's a great movie, great, aesthetically pleasing, Wes Anderson-y energy, fun kid's story, but that is, has enough for everybody. It is one of those, it's a kid's movie, but I do fully enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
For today. We're also here with a guest, Henry. I didn't really introduce him, but the male voice that you're hearing does not belong to Emily or I.
The sultry tones of my low timbre. I don't.
Do you want to continue that?
No, I don't want to, actually. You're gonna have to cut that one out.
So Henry's here for this episode because he loves furries.
I love animals. I love their skin. I love that it has fur on it. I like tails being removed. Is one of my things.
You wish you had fur sometimes, don't you?
I do. Sometimes I wear a suit to simulate having fur, and then I meet up with other people who also have similar interests.
Would you wear...
I just want to clarify, we're not furries. I just want to clarify, we are not furries. I was trying to do a bit. But
my question wasn't about furries, but would you wear a foxtail necktie, yes or no?
Depends on the occasion. You know, I'm definitely... I'm a kind of guy, it's not like you can't wear a suit everywhere. You have to dress for what's appropriate. Sense. I think if I'm going to an Eyes Wide Shut type of deal, everybody's wearing masks, I would do like a Fantastic Mr. Fox masks thing, but it would be Mr. Bean. Yeah, it would be the Bean guy.
Yeah.
And I would wear the
Fantastic Mr. Bean.
Yeah, but not the beloved British comedy character, obviously the factory owner from Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yes, that'd be really funny. I did notice that in this movie, the protagonist, Mr. Fox, he's wearing a corduroy suit the entire fucking movie, and they are doing some laborious activities. They are digging in the trenches, they are pulling off a heist, and this motherfucker is in a tan corduroy suit the whole time.
I know so many girls that would kill for that fit.
Oh my god. Right? Both Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde could rock that fit.
They're quaking.
Just seems like it's a bit of a stiff material, not very breathable.
Oh yeah, no. He's fully just probably drenched in sweat the entire time. Well, I don't think foxes sweat, actually. Do they just pant like dogs?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Everyone sweats.
I'm surprised they didn't have him as in George Clooney, just heavy breathing into the mic for this entire thing, because he'd just be sweating so much.
Do dogs not sweat?
No, they pant.
Yeah, humans are one of the only mammals that sweat, I think.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You didn't know that?
No.
I feel like that's one of those things you learn in first grade. That's
What the?
I don't know about that. It feels like a piece of knowledge that you pick up over time.
I think also,
and now we're 20-year-old people,
right?
So
if you never grew up with animals too, you had one guinea pig your whole life, you learn.
Yeah, it was a sweaty guinea pig. Slick to the touch.
that sounds like a problem for your guinea pig and your guinea pig only.
I guess I never realized that animals don't sweat.
Yeah,
I just feel like that's a thing.
What other mammals sweat, though?
Probably
Do you have any
monkeys.
idea?
Monkeys.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they do, though, to be honest with you.
Let me.
How does
Yeah,
that
look that
leave
up.
their Okay, anyways.
Through their mouth. That's why they pant.
This is now a zoology podcast where we'll be bringing you some really fun animal facts.
Horses. Horses sweat, apparently.
That's why I like them so much.
Monkeys, yes. Apes, same idea. Hippos sweat, apparently.
Well, they're always very slick with mud anyways. So there's no way to tell. I think that one's a guess.
So apparently dogs and cats do sweat, but just a little bit through their paw pads.
Aw. when they're nervous. When they're nervous, their paws get a little sweaty. So, how do you feel about claymation as a medium?
It's not always my favorite, but when it's done well, it's incredibly impressive.
When is it not your favorite? Like, what is an example of a claymation that
honestly,
you don't like?
I can't even think of. Why is the first thing that's coming to mind that video from like 2010 when it's like a YouTube video.
Don't touch me, I'm scared.
Yes.
What's your favorite idea?
Exactly.
Mine's being creative.
Yes.
Yeah, wait, name some other...
Are you kidding? I think that's the pinnacle of claymation. I just wanted to throw that out there because I know that there are some people that find like watching claymation movies to be
like
distracting or uncomfortable
know.
or kind of creepy. I know for kids movies a lot of time,
Yeah.
people are like, James and the Giant Peach is fucking creepy, but I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because I haven't seen, I don't think, honestly, a ton of other claymation movies. Like, the other one that jumps into my head is Coraline. And I've never seen that.
I used to watch a lot of, like, on YouTube and stuff, there's, like, a whole community of people who make, like, horror claymations and, like violent claymations and shit like that. Like, they'll recreate an action scene from a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I used to really love watching those. I used to, they would, do stuff from, The Raid and, Die Hard and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can get down with the claymation big time.
Yeah, me too. I like that. I think the claymation medium kind of lent itself to Wes Anderson's visual movie style. Yeah. Like there were certain little quirky things that I think really helped. Like each fox's fur kind of wrestled in a different way, and that was part of their personality, or just because they were all animals and there was a lot of fun textures happening. I think Wes Anderson is a very aesthetically visual storyteller, so I think this was kind of cool. And I know he did Isle of Dogs after this, but I think this might have been his first. I mean, obviously he himself did not claymate the movie, but I think his vision.
The Wes Anderson comes through in the claymation.
Yeah, his vision transcends for sure.
Did you see Isle of Dogs?
Yeah, I did.
It's good?
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy around it because it was a movie about Asian cultures and Asian characters and Japanese, I think, language was used a lot in the film, and Wes Anderson's a white dude, so everyone's hey, you can't really be just adopting cultures that you find to be fun and exotic, which I can definitely get behind that, but I did enjoy the movie, and I liked watching it, so I can kind of see both sides, but it's worth watching for sure. It's very similar to this in animals and fun, claymation-y, could be for kids, but also is a good time for adults. I would recommend it. Just I think I would recommend this one a little bit more though, because I just think this one is a really good story, and especially if you grew up reading the book and have sort of a this book was it's meant for pretty young kids, so it doesn't have a ton of it's not very long.
I don't remember when I read it, but I remember being
I think we had to read it
second or third grade or something
pretty young. I would say Matilda and the Witches and a lot of Roald Dahl's other books are a little meant for a little older kids, so they have a bit more substance to them, but this one is definitely for very young kids. It's almost like a storybook. So there wasn't a ton to work with, so I'm kind of surprised that this movie didn't deviate so far from the source material that it got a lot of criticism, but it didn't. I think it did a pretty good job turning a pretty simple kids book into a full-length feature film.
I was incredibly entertained the entire time. Not a lot of movies at this point can keep my attention span for very long, but this was...
Well, Dare fell asleep.
Don't help me!
A third of the way through. I mean, you've seen this movie a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, I've seen this movie a lot of times. I was feeling a little sleepy.
No, I thought this movie was a romp, for sure.
Yeah,
I've seen it a couple times, too, but it was still, it was pretty fresh.
The pacing is perfect. There's never, I don't think there was any moment where I'm I'm bored.
Yeah, right. And I think that's kind of one of the things you have to work with in claymation is you have to kind of use every frame really effectively because it's so much work to set up every single shot. So you know, that makes sense that the writing also has to be pretty tight to match that, you know, because otherwise they're wasting a lot of money and time.
Yeah, I love the dialogue in this movie, too, that these animals are, like, talking really deadpan to each other the whole time, which just, like, is so odd and not really how you get dialogue in kids' movies or, you know, any sort of animated movie for that matter. So it was kind of that, you know, weird Wes Anderson-y, like, awkward, not how people talk way of talking, but it was especially funny to see it coming from, like, a badger.
Yeah, no. I just thinking about it, there was definitely some parts where I was like, George Clooney just had to snarl into a mic. just growl.
Make fox noises.
Do you think he went method?
Yeah. Did you think he ate a live chicken with his bare teeth?
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, like in a farm in Idaho, where, like, the guy's like, he like catches George Clooney in a cage, like.
I really liked, as far as like, you know, big celebrities who had appearances in this movie. I love the Willem Dafoe as the rat.
It was so good.
It was, especially the rat looks like it's gonna be French. And then plot twist, it's Southern. Because he's dressed like Waldo, like where's Waldo? He's got like the stripes. He's very like French. He's like kind of daintily sipping from
like really skinny jeans,
cigarette pants. So you're like, oh, that rat is gonna be French for sure. No, Willem Dafoe takes it deep south.
Yeah,
and
rather aggressive twang.
I think to great effect though. It
was so good.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I was not expecting it to be Willem Dafoe, and it was the best turn that could have possibly had.
Willem Dafoe, more like Willem the Rat.
Oh, take that, famous actor Willem Dafoe.
But speaking of accents, it was pretty weird that every human in this was British.
Right.
And all the animals had American accents. And you pointed it out at first when they have the children singing and they're showing the song about the three farmers. And you're like, yeah, they're British. And sometimes, you know, children singing Christmas music.
Yeah, they just sing in British.
They just sound kind of British. But I after that, I like paid special attention to it. And yeah, all of the human characters are British and all the animals are American. What was the choice there?
Honestly, I have no idea.
What does this say about society?
Right. It's an allegory for the Revolutionary War or some bullshit.
Yeah, I want to know what statement Wes Anderson was trying to make.
We were the foxes, just trying to make our way in the world.
I've never felt more patriotic in my life.
I never knew that Noah Baumbach was so close with Wes Anderson that they like did this together.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he helped him write the script for this, and I guess he helps him write the scripts for like a lot of his stuff. Huh. Yeah, which I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know. My opinion of him is personally ruined by Marriage Story. I don't know. I can't stand that fucking movie.
Really? Mine is saved by Madagascar 3.
Oh! I stand corrected. Fair enough.
But, so we were talking about Willem Dafoe voicing the rat and George Clooney voicing the, you know, protagonist, Mr. Fox. And there's a lot of, like, really famous actors who do the voicing in this. Like, Meryl Streep is the wife.
Oh,
I loved that.
Meryl Streep plays a fed-up wife like nobody, dude. Like, a wife is like, I'm just worried about you.
Yeah.
Why do you do this to me, Fox? No.
There was
She's like, I love you, but I shouldn't have married you.
Yeah, that's Meryl Streep to a T.
No,
she ate this role.
She did, yeah. It was made for her.
The scene where she hits him, I was like, Fox has gone domestic violence? What a hot take for a kids movie. Yeah. She fully scratches up his face. But so there's a lot of famous actors. Wes Anderson regular, Owen Wilson, and Bill Murray. You know, they got to show up somewhere. But how do you guys feel about famous actors doing voice roles, like cartoon roles?
I think it depends. The only one that I felt strongly about in this is Owen Wilson, because I think Owen Wilson's voice is just so distracting at this point that I'm just like, that's Owen Wilson for the entire thing.
If it makes you stop paying attention to the movie so you can Google who it is, like to confirm your suspicions, I see that for sure. I mean, I do think it's used a lot in movies to draw in like attention, so they can like tack a bunch of really big name actors that you know to a movie, which has, I feel like, kind of killed voice acting as a profession outside of like cartoons for children. you know? So if you're just hiring all of these A-listers, but to be fair, a lot of them do a really good job. George Clooney was great, I think. Meryl Streep was great. I don't think any of them did a bad job, but it is just interesting, like, the culture of animated movies used to not be, you know, they would maybe have, like, one really famous person as kind of the draw, but I feel like nowadays, or even this movie came out in 2009, every character, even characters with only a couple lines, are, like, very famous people.
I feel like that's more, you can chalk that up more to, like, big studios doing that as opposed to, like, animated movies just in general. You know, like, Disney will do that with every single
that's what I'm saying.
remake
like,
they make, you know, but that's just, like, that's because they're a huge studio and they can do it.
And they can afford it and they can do it. And why would you not have Meryl Streep be the wife when, you know, some other voice actress who's never been in anything might do just as good of a job.
Right. It's like the same deal with all those, like, Marvel movies too. You know, they managed to get a bunch of people who were already A-list actors and, like, shove them in those movies because they can afford to pay them, you know, $200 million each. That's you know, coming from the finance desk, that's, like, sort of my take, you know? Like a business guy.
If they can pay to do it, I would see why they wouldn't, but...
In terms of this movie, I feel like I can, like, look past it more because Wes Anderson does have his cast of people that he always casts in all of his movies, and I mean, a lot of those people were in this.
Well, like, Bill Murray did not need to be...
Oh, no.
What is he, a badger?
Yeah, he just wanted Bill Murray to be a badger.
Yeah, he was like, Bill Murray, we're bros.
Yeah.
You're hanging around
You want another couple $1 million?
Yeah.
I'll do you a solid, Bill.
Yeah, Wes Anderson is doing Bill Murray the solid there for sure. I wonder how long it takes to do the voice recording for movies like this. Like somebody like Bill Murray, could he bang this out in a day?
Probably.
Do you think?
I don't think that for this movie specifically though that it took a short period of time because from what I know, Wes Anderson had all of the voice recordings done in the places that they were being shot for the movie. So like if they were outside, they were like in a field doing the voice recordings.
Oh, they didn't do it in a studio?
No, and if they were like in the attic, they were in an attic doing the recordings just to try and get the actors like more into the headspace because I assume it's hard to
be in the headspace of a fox, of a cartoon fox.
Hey, I don't know.
I guess that makes sense. That seems obviously really extra.
It might make 100%. It might make like sound mixing easier though, you know, because there's that one scene that kind of stands out to me for that. Where Meryl Streep as a fox is in the kitchen and she's like sort of in the background and it sounds like she's in the back of a kitchen like talking out. So I don't like it.
Yeah, perhaps
it sells it.
Yeah, I could see it going either way of making it easier or also like being such a pain in the ass for the sound guy. Yeah. He's like, you brought me shit that was recorded on your iPhone.
You like, dude, I'm so good at editing stuff. Please.
He's like, no, we're gonna do this in a field where there's birds chirping and grass rustling. And
but I don't want any of that.
Cut all the background out. Just get George's voice.
Make it sound like we did this in a studio.
Yeah, he's like, meanwhile, he's like editing it in somewhere that has soundproofing. He's just like, oh, bitch.
Something that like kind of fucked me up when I learned, especially about like TV shows, was that they don't record in the same room. Like, a lot of scenes are just done individually, so they'll be like, yeah, bring it, okay, today's Meryl's day, and she'll come into the studio, she'll do all of her lines or whatever, however much that day, and then that's it. Yeah, and they don't have both of them in there at the same time, like, with back and forth, and a lot of the times when you see that, it's just filmed for, like, promo stuff for movies, so they're like, oh, the two actors doing their voice recordings in the studio, like, that's mostly promo stuff. It's, I mean, obviously not with this, because they did it in a field or whatever, but a lot of cartoons, and because this was about Bob's Burgers, and how they do record with all, 5 or 6 people in the same room, and that's why a lot of people think that show, has a lot better dynamic between the characters because they're all actually there.
It's like a big deal when that happens though, because like that's not a normal thing.
Yeah, which really fucked me up because in my logical brain you would think like, everybody gets in the little studio so you can look at George Clooney and pretend he's your fox husband.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would just assume that makes it so much easier.
But I guess not, probably from some sort of production standpoint. It's scheduling too. You only have to schedule Meryl for 2 days? And they don't have to be the same 2 days that George Clooney's available, whatever. Yeah, ever since I've learned that, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense why they book big names, because then they don't have to, scheduling is probably so easy. They can just do, I have a couple down days, let me just go be the star of an animated movie, But you think that would take away from having actual actors voice your characters?
Yeah.
Would make sense to have them do it together so they can play off each other and get, you know, in the headspace and the vibe, whatever. Which is, yeah, like you said, maybe what they did for this movie. But just animation in general, I guess, is kind of like that, which, you know, really confused me.
Yeah, no, now I'm gonna be thinking about that for the next day and a half. Like, all of my favorite animated movies, I'm like, it was all a lie.
Can we talk about this Bean guy? Because he just, like, okay.
You seem to have some thoughts on the Bean guy, so you have the floor, sir.
Okay, so...
You like Bean the best. That's you.
Bean is my favorite one, the cider guy. The
yeah,
skinny,
there's Bogus or Bogus? I don't know.
Bogus? I think it's Bogus.
Bogus, Bunce, and Bean. And Bogus eats 10, 12 chickens a day or something. Bunce is really short and farms.
Eats liver donuts?
Liver donuts. And Bean is, I would say, like the main villain, even though they're kind of like a unit of villains. He's definitely the face.
Well, yeah, he's like this. If they're like a conglomerate, you know, he has the majority shareholder, whatever, you know. He's a.
What is with you and like business?
I'm just kind of like, I'm like a white collar, sort of like tie wearing kind of guy, you know. Like,
I just don't know where this is coming from because for weeks now you have been referring to yourself as blue collar Hank.
Well, I dabble in, like, you know, the white collar society, but, you know, that's my profession is blue collar, no doubt. You know, I don't know. I'm very cultured and well traveled. Yeah. Those are two
above the two collars that there are. You really can just bounce back and forth. Huh?
Sort of like
you're kind of collateral,
like a light blue kind of color. So Bean is my favorite because he's the quickest with the stick. He can just like he's like, what are you going to do about this fox? He's like, let me show you. And he shoots out, like, 3 lights, like, really quickly. And he's like, I'm so good at shooting. And I was like, okay, vote for Bean, right?
We're voting?
Well, I'm not voting.
Are you just putting a point on the board for him?
Yeah. Bean is scoring points.
Uh-huh.
He does demonstrate his ability to kill a fox and then proceeds to not do it for the whole...
never hit that fucking fox again. He shoots off the tail once, and then he shoots at that fox probably, like, 6 more times during the movie. Does not hit it.
I'm no zoologist or veterinarian, but I'm gonna say that if you shot the tail off of a fox, it would die from blood loss pretty quick. And they did not
he was immediately treated with gauze and stitches. You saw.
Yeah, but still.
They definitely just cauterized.
Yeah, there was no scene of Meryl Streep cauterizing a fox ass. So,
do you think that this movie could have benefited from that added scene?
Sure.
Okay. So,
I mean, yeah, he did get his wounds treated, I guess. But there was no blood. There was no clay blood. There's no red clay to be shed from this wound.
So another thing about Bean, though, and I love him, but I just want him to be better. There's the scene at the end where Ash, I think is his name, his son, frees the rabid dog, and the rabid dog disperses the crowd so that they can escape the factory or whatever. Why doesn't he just shoot that dog right in the head?
Because he clearly loves it. He's kept it alive on medication for so long.
Bean shows that, like, he's this hard motherfucker this entire movie, right? Like, he's, like, blasting out a fox. He'll, like, go to the ends of the earth because he got stolen from to kill an animal.
Can a man not love his dog? His sick dog?
I think Bean is shown to be harder than that, though. He had a loaded pistol in his hand. He would have what would have been better is if he just put one in between the dog's eyes.
At that point, everyone had already dispersed, though. You know, it's too late.
I don't know.
I see your point.
Bean has to be a leader there, though. You know, he's the CEO. He's the head of the 3 factories coming together. He's got to make some decisions. He has to shoot a dog in the head to save his cider business.
I want to say that, like, Bean could have been like, okay, this dog has effectively done its job for X amount of years, but he was just proven that the dog did not at all do its job, so it makes sense why he would have shot the dog.
Right.
But I mean...
But I think by the time he would make that decision, the dog has already scared everyone, and everyone's already running. He would have... The minute the dog came through that door, he would have had to... Done.
Yeah, I'm saying it's Bean's job to be that kind of guy, though. You know, to make that decision, he has to be making those hard decisions.
Hey, nobody's perfect. Not even Bean.
I need Bean to be, though.
You know who's perfect though? Is Bean's wife,
Frances McDormand.
Like,
you mean?
Like scary Frances McDormand. I love that scene where she like stomps down the stairs to get the cider, and she just looks like a military general.
She's wearing those chaps.
Yeah, she looks hard as fuck. Nothing to see. She's not really an important
she
character.
also pulls
but...
out like a cavalry dagger at one point to kill the fox. It's got like a whole like it's got brass knuckles on it. So hard.
She was definitely in some like secret operative type thing.
That's how they met.
Yeah, no.
She's killed and will kill again.
See, Bean's wife would have killed the dog.
Yes, yeah. Bean's wife is strong enough to make that decision. She loves killing. Well, so she didn't kill the fox though. So like the whatever. Christopherson and Ash.
She knew. Yeah. Hey, she knew he was a pawn to be played. She's just smart.
God damn it, she's so smart.
Genius.
We're all playing checkers. God damn.
Do you think that it's actually Bean that runs the business, or it's his wife that really does it?
She wears the chaps around here.
If they ever do a live-action remake of just the human parts, imagine they keep all the claymation animals, but they make the people live-action, kind of like Garfield, or like the new Sonic movie, how they blend the two worlds.
Yeah. Your live-action remake.
But so Frances McDormand for sure.
Yeah,
this is her Oscar moment.
She has to. Yeah, no. Fuck her Oscar for 3 Billboards.
Fuck Nomadland.
Yeah, no. I want Frances McDormand as Bean's wife.
The re-released, re-edited, remastered.
Who else would we cast as?
Who could be like okay? Because for physical qualities, we need somebody very short, somebody very fat, and then somebody very scary.
For some reason, the first person that popped into mind for
Paul
me...
Blart.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, but...
Do you mean Kevin James? He has
no, Paul Blart.
Paul Blart. But as Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Mm-hmm. But for some reason, my head for Bean immediately went to Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that?
On. Yeah, absolutely. He's got that hard face. Mm-hmm. He plays angry men all the time. He is an angry man himself, I think.
He'd have to lose maybe 20 pounds just to get real skinny.
Yeah, he'd have to get anorexic.
I changed my statement. I don't think they should just re-film the human scenes. I think that it should be like a Cats. The newest the Cats movie situation, and but I don't want any CGI or anything. I just want George Clooney in a fox costume, as if it were like a live play. He's just wearing like a headband with ears, and maybe they'll paint his nose black or something. And I want a whole live action, but as if it's a low budget.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe as the rat in some very tight pants.
Oh yeah, say what you mean. You just want to see Willem Dafoe in skinny jeans.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. But I
can get behind that.
Well, at that point, I think it's just Ocean's 11. Then this movie just becomes Ocean's 11.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
But Willem Dafoe is a furry this time. Or I guess they're all furries.
Yeah.
George Clooney is furry. He's getting a ragtag group of his furry friends to pull one last heist.
If they were going to do this is when they'd have to do method.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They'd have to live in a hole in the ground.
They have to practice digging with their hands.
I just want to see this group of full humans dig massive holes.
Oh my god. All
Meryl, dig! Get in the dirt!
All stacked up on each other.
This was probably one of my favorite roles that I've seen Willem Dafoe in, though.
Oh, and that's saying a lot because he's amazing.
I know. He's physically not in it.
No, he's great, though. It's that southern charm.
It probably goes The Lighthouse, Spider-Man, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Really above, Florida Project.
I mean, it's just so sad.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he was great
but his performance.
Yeah.
I also would like that the two children foxes are just fully voiced by adults, and that would not change.
Who were the voices of the kids?
I'll show you.
Were they famous?
Yeah, they were.
One of them was a regular of.
Yeah, you'll recognize this guy, Jason Schwartzman. He was in
Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah,
of course.
Moonrise Kingdom. Yeah. I think the other guy, I didn't really recognize him as being, as famous.
Yeah, no, I don't
James
quite know
Earl
him.
Jones.
Eric Chase Anderson. Yeah, he's...
Wes Anderson's brother or something.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Which fox was your favorite fox? Are you Team Christopherson or are you Team Ash?
Well, Ash sucks, but I love him.
He's just not like the other foxes.
He spits on the ground.
Yeah, right?
Move.
He's got his little ear twitch.
Yes.
He's wearing guy liner that's built into his face.
He's such a bitch, but I like that for him.
I just think his moment where he says, I weigh less than a slice of bread while, like, doing parkour, really is his redeeming moment.
He's fun. I really liked his character. I think my favorite Fox was Mrs. Fox, Meryl Streep.
Oh my god, who's just constantly painting landscapes.
Like, that's how she stays calm with her chaotic
husband. Yeah.
She's just like, I need this for me. I just want to shout out to that one scene with Mr. Fox and, like, Christopherson and who plays the little badger guy? Not badger, but you know, his little sidekick.
The possum.
The possum, yeah.
Kylie.
Yeah, Kylie, thank you. I couldn't remember his name. Just that scene where they drive by a wolf and and Mr. Fox just throws up like the power, like the power fist, and it's like
yeah. What are the racial undertones of this movie?
Not sure.
I could not place that at all.
Because all these, like, woodland animals seem to be living in somewhat of a, harmony. They all have jobs and a community, but
not all.
But not wolves, because the wolf wasn't wearing any clothes.
Yeah, no.
Is he nudist? Or is this just something that they have adopted as a community? They're like, we're gonna wear clothes.
Well, like,
now.
Dogs and chickens seem to also not be, like
part of the Yeah.
The wolf didn't even speak English or Latin.
Yeah.
Not French either. French, yeah. No, nothing.
I like that scene too because the wolf wasn't claymation. It was like, part of the background, just like painted off in the distance, which I thought was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Also, when his eyes like welled up with tears because he was scared. Mm-hmm. Claymation is very impressive, and it's crazy to think, how much care and detail has to go into every single scene.
Oh, it's remarkable. I think I have probably the most respect for claymation artists.
And you would think that maybe it would make sense to film it like a movie, and then they could use the actors' like emotional expressions as sort of I literally have no clue. I just think it'd be really hard to then be like, okay, here's a ball of clay, make a disappointed father who's also a fox, That's a lot.
No.
I do think they really captured the good dynamic of like the son who feels like the cousin is getting more attention or whatever, like how Christopherson was like suddenly the favorite just because he showed up. I thought that was a fun dynamic for a kid's movie because I think a lot of kids feel like that.
And you can relate to being an inferior cousin.
Oh yeah, all my cousins are so much better than me. It is not even close.
I could never.
I couldn't.
Do you guys want to try and guess how long it took to get just the first model for Fantastic Mr. Fox?
6 years.
What?
No. No.
What?
Oh, like, what do you mean, like the first run through, like the first draft? Like,
honestly, I'm trying to figure out.
Like the first model of like, oh, we did the.
I think so.
Like
I think
the
that's
outline,
what they
the
mean.
draft.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, was I way over?
6 years.
It wasn't 6 years.
I would
like
think it would take 6 years to claymate a movie. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, this movie took 15 years to make. I would believe it.
No. Apparently, it says for the leading character, which Mr. Fox, it took 7 months alone to get the first model, the claymation model of him.
Oh,
wow.
That's what I'm reading. But
damn.
The amount of puppets that were actually used in the production were 535 puppets.
Bro,
Jesus.
I love puppets. I'll say it right now. Muppets, puppets.
We should do the Muppets.
The Muppet movie, Muppet Treasure Island. Mm-hmm. Oh, Muppet Babies. This is like totally out of left field, but if anybody out there really loves puppets, the TV show about the Jim Henson movie, The Dark Crystal, it's like a movie from the 70s, but then they made a whole TV show about it like a couple years ago, and it's all puppets, and it's all very like practical effects. Kind of, not claymation, but like in that same vein of like a lot of work probably went into actually making it, and it's very good. Love a good puppet moment.
Can't disagree with you there.
No, that TV show was excellent. They do all sorts of stuff. They like really get into the backstory of it and stuff.
But it kind of surprises me that it took them that long to get the first model down, because the Roald Dahl book has a fair amount of illustrations in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say they were like one-to-one true to the illustrations, because obviously they took some, creative liberties, but it is very similar. The vibe they went with and what everyone looked like was very true to the book. So it's kind of surprising that it took them that long to perfect it, because it literally already exists.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it was a perfection sort of thing, like going in, getting all the fur onto this clay piece,
Wow, so I'm looking up, like, how long claymation takes, and it's reported
Years,
that, on
right?
average, it takes about a full week of work to make 1 to 2 minutes of usable footage, which is crazy.
Incredibly interesting medium, which I feel like you don't see much claymation nowadays, because everything's just done digitally, which is a shame, because it's such a great artistic medium.
Wes Anderson originally was very, tentative to do this and, put it out there, to, whatever studios that he was going to get the rights to this, story, and he was going to do it because he really wanted it to be claymation. And so he teamed up with the claymation artists first, and that was the first thing he did, because he knew that if he started pitching the story, they were going to tell him to do it CGI, because it was 2009, and that was definitely just the way things were, either flat animated or Pixar-y CGI looking type thing. And he was like, that is not my vision. I'm not fucking with that shit. So he was like, claymation is step one, before even writing the movie, before even anything. We are getting the clay, molding.
Start kneading this bitch. Yeah, I can't think of any other really notable claymations that stick out to me, honestly.
Coraline?
See, I never saw Coraline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
That's that. I would say Coraline is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Coraline is amazing.
It's a dark movie.
I was really into it as a kid. I think it came out when I was in the 6th grade or so. So it was really,
right.
I was that was my vibe at the time, and I was super into it. And I had the extended version DVD, and they had the whole DVD about how it was made, and the process of them claymating all the Coraline scenes. And I was definitely very much into it. And it was a whole thing about how both Coraline and The Nightmare Before Christmas, because they had those sort of darker, kind of creepy tones, people would say that they were Tim Burton movies, and I was very high and mighty about correcting. It is not a Tim Burton movie. Those are Henry Selick movies. Henry Selick is he's very known for, the claymation-y.
I am 100% certain that Nightmare Before Christmas is
no, that is Tim Burton.
But it was Tim Burton and Henry Selick. So then when people thought that Tim Burton also did Coraline, which he didn't.
So he's just saying Henry Selick's he's a bit biter,
No. Henry Selick is the meat and potatoes of the operation, and Tim Burton's just a name that they slap on it at the end to get the credit. And people are like, Coraline, that's Tim Burton, and it wasn't.
I don't know, dude.
Couldn't say.
I'm a Tim Burton stan through and through, Yeah. This Henry Selick guy sounds like a bit of a joke to me.
Didn't you see My Life as a Zucchini, though? Isn't that claymation?
Yes, that was really good. That was really good for sure. Another good claymation romp. They took it off Netflix recently, which made me pretty pissed.
Damn.
That was one, actually, that got recommended for this month. For
shit.
Yeah. So yeah, this was if we didn't mention earlier, we did viewer requested movies this month or whatever. But so I was just looking that it was nominated for Best Animated Film and Best Score. And I know you mentioned right after that you're the score is great, and I agree. So very good. The guy who did the score for this also did the score for Argo.
Those feel like two very different movies.
Yeah, so that really shows some range. But it lost to Up for both.
That makes sense, but
Disney's got that.
Yeah, that iron grip. Yeah. No, I think this is.
Grip.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say something controversial, but I haven't seen Up either.
If you just have to learn about the stages of grief in any 101 level psych class, just watch Up. Yeah, that's all you have to do.
That's crazy that you've avoided seeing Up for this long. That's always gets put on in the goddamn classroom in high school.
Yep. No. Mm-mm. I didn't take psych.
Yeah, there you go. No, Up is just Up is consistently on somewhere. Yeah, if you flip the channels, somewhere Up will be on.
Yeah, no, that's certainly true.
You can always find Up if you need it.
I just don't feel like being sad as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bastard, but I hated Up.
Oh no!
It's okay, his wife died.
It was not my favorite. I would agree that it was not one of the more notable Pixar films, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that I mean, this lost to Up for animation.
Yeah, again, with just the whole Disney situation.
No. It's a damn shame.
I guess they based a lot of the scenery on the small village of Great Missenden, which is in Buckinghamshire in fucking England or whatever.
God, this is so Wes Anderson.
But that's where Roald Dahl lives.
Oh,
so they're like, oh, let's go to the source, of this book, and then they're like, oh, this place is really beautiful. And so they did a lot of like scaling down of things.
That makes sense. I like that.
Buckinghamshire is a made-up place.
Buckinghamshire.
England doesn't exist.
honey, that's made up.
Yeah, to our 4 English listeners, can you let us know if it's real over there?
We live in New England.
Okay, where does it?
I'm unconvinced.
Where do you actually live? Be honest.
We literally live in Worcester County.
I don't know. Someone just got really creative.
You know the sauce? Let's make it British.
I've never seen this one coming.
But do you think Wes Anderson's a furry?
Yeah, I can guarantee it.
He's got that look in his eye.
He's not one of us, you know?
Stop!
That's gonna be my whole... I have like an Instagram that I don't post on. My entire online presence now is just gonna be me coming onto this podcast once a month. Tell everybody about my furry tendencies. I'm gonna find out we're probably gonna do Star Wars next. I'm gonna rope it into that. You know,
you should get on Twitter though, because a lot of the people who came for us on Twitter this past week had furries as their icons. Yeah, so
I was seeing some of that. The big cancel controversy.
And by big we mean there was like
4 responses.
Yeah, 4 responses and a lot of dislikes against us.
Yeah, but mostly because to the thread that we were. Honestly, I'm not going to get into it, but a lot of the people seemed very furry or furry adjacent.
I'll talk to them.
So you can get in on the inside and sway their opinion on us.
Sounds good.
So
I'll talk to my boys. I'll call off the dogs. Call off the dogs and the wolves.
What's your fursona, Henry?
That's extremely private.
I think mine...
Don't ask me that, please.
Mine would be a sloth, and I show up to the orgy, but I just take a nap in my sloth outfit. I'm just being really true to my persona. We're not gonna do anything for Fuck, Marry, Kill other than bogus bunts and beans, right?
Of course, yeah.
Because we are not gonna be discuss the fucking of foxes or any other mammals or otherwise.
Well, you won't. I will later on my forums.
On Henry's furry after show, where after this you do...
Swamp after hours.
Furry hour. Furry time. Yeah. Playtime.
Your avatars in the swamp is like a toad and an alligator or whatever, so yeah.
Oh, shoot.
That would make us scalies, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm just slimy. I'm a frog.
You're a slimy, I'm a scaly, you're a furry. Why can't we all just get along? But, so I think this movie's pretty tough for our regularly scheduled Fuck, Marry, Kill, because these are clay animals. Mm-hmm. And I just cannot, with good conscience, speak of any of them as fuckable or otherwise. But I guess we can maybe do bogus bunts and beans.
Well, first of all, I'm fucking and marrying Frances McDormand. Mrs. Bean, if you will.
Mrs. Bean. She's gonna go into the cellar and get you a thing of hard cider. Yeah. You are committing to a life of hard cider.
I'm fine with that.
Well, that is something you have to consider with this, like...
Profession.
Whoever you marry is gonna be what you eat for the rest of your life,
So what are your options? Are chicken, geese, and apples?
Yeah. Apples and booze.
Turkey. He did turkey and apples. So he has turkeys and apples.
Oh, true.
One of them had goose, but for some reason he ate a lot of donuts.
Yeah, he put their livers into donuts or something.
Which is weird. Yeah. And then the chickens.
Yeah.
I think my strategy is that I'm marrying Bogus, killing Bunce, and then fucking Bean. And I'll explain why.
As a Bean stan, I would think you would want to marry Bean. But
I understand that. So I can't marry Bean because he is too alpha for me. He's just like, he's too head honcho. He's too like in charge. I can't handle that kind of energy.
There's not room for the two of you in that.
You think your alpha energy would rival?
No, not at all. I think I would just be like, I would just get wrecked by him. You know, like I think he would show me a good time for a night. You know, he's obviously living lavishly. You know, I'd love to get drunk on cider with him.
You got to think about that whiskey dick.
That might be for the best.
It very well could be. So I think Bogus is a portly man.
He's a lot of chicken.
Eats a lot of chicken. I'll never have to, want for any warmth in the night. He's a big cuddly bear. And I would kill Bunce to cull the herd because he's a runt. He's a little man.
I would say he has the least personality out of the three of them. When they're acting as a unit, they're like, okay, so you're small, and that's your thing.
Yeah. I like how he operates the tractor, though. That's his one redeeming quality. He's like over his head.
Yeah, it's interesting how like a lot of physical comedy in this. Is like, but it's an animated movie. But the way they walk is so funny.
Oh my god!
They keep all their joints kind of locked, and they all kind of trot a little bit. And it's very funny, and everyone kind of moves a little bit different, based on their character.
Yeah. My first impression of this movie was Mrs. Fox walking up the hill, and I think the first thing I said was, "I like how she walks."
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, you're in for a big storm coming," because this movie is full of good strides.
Clay physicality.
Something I've never really paid attention to is how people walk. But I had a roommate once who said that they liked the way that Henry walked, and they're like, "Yeah, Derry, you also have a distinct walk." And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" I was talking to my mom, who's a PT, and she goes, "Oh yeah, your gait tells a lot about your bone structure and whatever, and how you carry yourself." And I just have never paid attention to that about other people. If somebody's bad posture or something, you can kind of pick up on that, but I do not pay that much attention to the people around me where I'm like, "Oh, I like the way you walk."
I will be asking you guys to do a little strut for me now after this.
So I'll say too, back when I used to play sports, people would tell me that I would run without really pumping my arms a whole lot.
Hands glued straight by the side.
And I have been so self-conscious about that for the rest of my life. It was like somebody told me that when I was 16, and I think when I walk, I'm not sure if I'm moving my arms enough ever now, because
were you just Naruto running on the soccer field?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I was not self-aware enough to be making those sorts of observations.
You gotta start fast walking with some weights.
Yeah, right. Get trained up.
But then when you don't have the weights, you'll move your arms extra, because I mean, I've been told I have bad posture a lot, but that's just the truth.
Yeah, that's everyone, I think. I don't know. The people who have good posture really stand out to me.
Yeah.
But most people around me have bad posture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like job interviews and stuff. I've been told I have very good posture, and it's because all I'm thinking about is compensating for my bad posture. That I'm I don't want to look like I'm sloppy, so I'll sit up really straight. And they're like, "Wow, you're sitting up really straight." And I'm like, why'd you say something?
You weren't supposed to notice.
Is my posture subtly good enough for you?
Bogus Buns and Beans. One's fat, one's short, one's lean.
Me.
All incredibly mean. Apples, butter, and cheese.
That's
not the song.
No.
I would maybe fuck Bean, but I'm marrying his wife. That's it.
Yeah.
I have to veer off the bean path.
I refuse to answer your question, but I instead provide you with this. Frances McDormand. This whole movie is the same, but it's Frances McDormand is just Bean's wife. I saw a really funny tweet that was a Muppet version of Harry Potter, where everyone are little puppets except Adam Driver is Snape. Which I think is hilarious. To do an entire a Muppet Treasure Island thing where just one person is a real person, everyone else is Muppets. But for this, it would be claymation. But it's just for some reason a shrunken down Frances McDormand who's a real person.
I think she would crush this role.
She would. And those chaps, I keep coming back to the chaps. Uh-huh. That's a woman in charge.
How could I say no to those chaps, Henry?
She had, chaps, sleeves rolled up right at the elbow in a really crisp line. She works, but she doesn't get dirty. That's kind of woman I like.
I would kill Bunce though, because he eats goose liver filled
goose liver donuts. I'd at least want to try one.
No, that's fucked up.
You want to try it?
I'm all right.
Is that pate? That's what pate is, right? It's like liver?
Was that like? I think you're
That's
thinking of
foie gras. Yeah.
Foie gras. Then what's pate?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think
Maybe
it's
it's the same
liver.
thing.
Like pate inside a donut. Well, that sounds kind of fucked up.
Maybe pate is like a way you
Prepare
make meat.
it.
Yeah, I think it's like a meat paste. I think it can be different things though.
Yeah, no, I'll pass on the donuts. I'm okay for some experimental eats, but that's outside of my comfort zone.
Which is
far
why
outside of my comfort zone.
That's why bogus is such a viable marriage option. Because you know you like chicken.
Yep.
You're gonna eat just a lot of chicken. Mm-hmm. That's it.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm googling what pate is. It is a paste pie or loaf filled with a force meat. What the fuck is force meat?
Oh no.
Okay, common force meats include ground meat from pork, poultry, fish, beef, fat, vegetables, herbs, spices, either wine or brandy. Can be served hot or cold. Is considered.
Wait, hold on. So is
what-
force meat a way that you prepare meat?
Yeah, why is it
It
forced?
looks just because
Force meat,
it's
one
been
word?
forced into a cube.
Ew.
No, don't make me into a cube.
What is pate made from? Liver.
Always?
Traditionally made with liver, wine, and spices into a spreadable texture. So it's you force the meat. You force the
You
liver.
force the meat into a different product?
What is force meat? I didn't go to culinary school.
Yeah, so what's foie gras?
Force meat?
Foie gras?
Frog walk.
That's what Anakin Skywalker has. He has that force meat.
How? How do I even?
I know what you meant. How did you just type in foie gras?
FRA space GWA.
Just spell it out, baby. You can do it.
Which
Sound it out.
for those idiots at home, it's FOIE space GRAS.
How do you pronounce foie?
Where
Foie
does the
gras?
name come from? Is it French?
Foie gras. It's French. And
Yeah,
it means
okay.
fat liver.
That makes
It is,
sense.
yeah, and it is
Okay, so
liver.
it's-
Yeah, specialty food made of the liver of a duck or a goose. Yeah, so it would be if he puts goose liver in donuts, that'd be a foie gras donut.
gras.
So that could be your snack.
You ever see those videos?
If
of the
you
goose getting
watch-
force-fed?
oh my
That's,
God.
Wait, that's force meat right there.
That's
You see them those geese getting force fed? That's disturbing.
vegetarian sucking my dick, calling that force meat.
Oh, oh, dare no.
No, too much.
Force meat. It's just the most like. It's two words that shouldn't be together.
Foie gras donut holes.
No.
Do have a couple of recipes online. I'm looking foie gras donut holes.
Well, there's your food pairing right there.
I think if
For
you're
some
trying to be, they do not look appetizing though.
They bussin'. Huh?
They are, yeah, that's really gross.
I hate that.
They're leaking.
If you wanted to be really like adventurous and like test to see who of your friends is a real freak, you could put out the foie gras donuts and be like, anybody want to try? And you know that one person who just will boss to the wall, do anything.
Not me. I would strongly opt for any other chicken dish for this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, or obviously hard cider is fun. Or I think like any
that's
sort
a
of
must.
apple-based cocktail is really. Oh, I never said I'm definitely gonna marry Bean because free basement full of cider and full access to Willem Dafoe the Rat. We would hang out. We would hang out in that basement all the time.
Yeah, if you had a choice to marry that rat, you would.
No. I just want to be friends. And then I'm gonna kill the fat one because he's slow.
And you
Oh no, I'm not gonna fuck the short one. Wait, this is tough. Anyways.
Wait, you would kill him because he's slow?
Oh, it'd be easy.
You kill him because you could.
Because he's fat and slow.
You can
It'd
have
be an
Willem
easy thing
Dafoe
to
the
do.
Rat do it and just knife
Yeah,
him.
he'll knife him for me.
Oh, that scene where Willem Dafoe the Rat dies, though.
Oh my god.
So drama.
I cried. I
Oh
cried
my
a little.
god.
I cried a little. I'm not gonna lie to you.
When they just sweep his body into the sewer water and he just gets floated down the river.
He lived in his own way.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
I will say, did this film have like a political message to be considered about gentrification? Because they lived in the tree and then the tree got torn down, and they were forced to move into the sewers where they thought that they wouldn't survive, but then they
Flourished.
They flourished because they stole from the grocery store or whatever.
My only takeaway was that arson is always the answer in a fight.
Yeah.
Burning things is a valid choice.
Yeah, no, they
most times.
fully bombed the shit out of that little British town.
They did. This movie kind of touches on a lot of different things. You could say it's like environmentalism, because like they're literally forcing animals out of their homes.
They're forcing meat.
Forced meat. Yeah.
Sorry.
There's a lot of forced meat themes throughout this film.
But so I think for food, if we're going on that track with the foie gras donuts, that seems like a lot of work, honestly. And yeah, I think any sort of fun chicken dish, if you did chicken 12 ways.
Chicken 12 ways.
You could do 12 varieties of chicken have.
I think you could also do like
an apple pie.
You could do any game meat as well. Any sort of
Oh, like a pie, like a meat pie with sort of like gamey meat in it. I feel like that could be very on brand with this film, like a squab pie.
Yeah. What even is squab?
It's some kind of Cornish hens, individual Cornish hens. Every one of your guests gets a little Cornish hen. That would be so fun.
Yeah. The challenge. It's like Edward 40 hands, but you tape a bunch of Cornish hens to your arms, and you have to eat all of them.
You have to finish each Cornish hen.
Yeah, you have to finish 12 Cornish hens.
Yeah.
I think this movie would be very easy to plan a little dinner party around. Yeah, apple cocktails for sure.
Yeah. If only they had like big barrels of like Carlo Rossi sized cider.
Yeah, right. To drink it from the jug would be really on brand. Nice. I would not say an appletini is in the cards here.
No.
I think like a really hearty chicken based dinner with like a nice cold hard cider for sure. Yeah. That's the vibe.
I could see you doing that, but I'm partial to a hot whiskey cider, which is apple
like
cider.
A mulled hot. Yeah, that could be good too. This movie has really autumnal vibes. Everything is very orange and yellow and brown. So if you could watch this on like a crisp
fall night,
like an October 3rd type beat,
it's a very specific date.
Yeah, well, because it's enough into the fall where the colors are there, but it's not cold quite yet. Too cold. There's no snow.
Yeah.
It's cold at night,
Yeah.
Have a fire going while you watch it.
Exactly. That's that. Yeah, we figured out the vibes for this movie entirely.
Done.
Yeah.
Boom.
We ate mac and cheese. I fell asleep halfway through, and there were Takis, and that was about it for us, I would say.
I had like one good handful of Takis, and I was like,
My dad force fed you some sushi.
Yeah.
My dad's trying to learn how to make sushi today.
Hold on, we'll figure out if he listens because I'll flame him on his sushi right now. Yeah. Way too much rice, Gary. You gotta. It's like a thin layer you want to put down first and then roll it. Like I don't know what technique you're using,
but it's probably wrong.
Fix it, and you'll only get this advice if you listen to the podcast. And I won't tell you about this.
My dad does not listen to this, but my mom for sure does. So Jen, if you go behind our backs,
Jen, you can't tell Gary about this, okay? Because this is a test.
Yeah, I know for sure. Also, Gary, there's no way in hell Gary has ever seen the fucking clay-mated Fantastic Mr. Fox or has any inclination to listen to this. So honestly, I don't really mind. But
maybe we should have like a 10-minute section at the end where we talk shit about Gary
every week until he finally listens. No, to be honest, I don't want my dad to listen to this. I don't want him to know he knows I have foul language and bad opinions because I live in his house. It's just really reiterated here. We are talking about furries and force meat for, most of this episode.
And you know what? Today's Pie Day. I bet you didn't even know that.
It is Pie Day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So everyone raise your pies.
Well, this will not be released for like 2 weeks.
Now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when we recorded it was April 14th.
You're really taking the listeners out because when you listen to a podcast, don't you like to think that they did it the day before?
I like to pretend that they're in my
head. Yep.
No, I like to pretend that they're really small people and living in my car stereo.
Yeah, having a conversation. I'm like, these are my only friends.
Yeah, I'm like,
I agree.
Okay, Terry Gross. Stay tiny and inside my car stereo. Whatever.
The plight, the curse that Terry Gross has faced, that she has to be a tiny person living in your stereo.
The monkey's paw. Like, I want to be the best radio host ever. Okay, but you must be small.
And then what movie would you pair for after this?
I feel like something either really fall vibes or like just another Wes Anderson, because you can't. I feel like Wes Anderson puts you in a very specific mood. For sure. So I think Moonrise Kingdom might be a move for after this.
Isle of Dogs kind of is like a natural synergy for me, just because they're like you can pretend that they're part of like the same universe or whatever, just like in the future.
I'd say like same line of thought for sure. Maybe just because I love Coraline, but a good Coraline after this, if you're staying on the claymation track, kind of those kids movies that still really hold up. Type beat. Also, just watch Ocean's 11. I think would be a fun one to watch after this too. For real, just like a George Clooney heist movie. They're basically the same.
You could do Roald Dahl. You could do some Roald Dahl.
Oh, Matilda after this.
Matilda would be good.
That's a great one.
If you're watching this in the fall, you could do Witches.
Yeah. You know about the new one that Anne Hathaway's gonna be in?
Yeah, I heard she was up for a Razzie for it.
Oh no, is it out? It already exists?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Weird. I'm not like up to date with movie culture because the movie theaters aren't open, and I'm not paying $50.
R.I.P. to Cinemagic, by the way. Did you hear about that?
Yeah,
No.
The movie theater in our town, part of a much larger chain, Cinemagic, has closed down due to the pandemic. I do think they opened up for a hot minute when once we like moved into whatever phase, and like literally no one went because why the fuck would you go to the movie theater? And
back when
there
were phases, remember that?
Yeah. But I would say that Roald Dahl has provided a lot of very consistent book to movie adaptations for our life. The OG Witches movie really tickled me as a kid. I really liked it, and all my friends thought it was really creepy, which is why I was like, it's not creepy, it's funny. It's so funny. They look so silly with their like droopy skin.
Angelica, was it Hudson or Houston? I don't know how you say her name. Yeah, but she's perfect.
And Matilda, I think, is one of the best kids movies for sure. Directorial debut of Danny DeVito.
Genius.
Did you know that the girl who plays Matilda is cousins with Ben Shapiro? I think that's so funny. She's great. She's got a really good Twitter presence.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like after you can follow this up with a lot of different things for vibes wise.
Yeah. So what would you rate this movie?
I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I enjoy it. What about you?
I'd probably give it like an 8.5 or a 9. This was one of my favorite movies that I've watched in a long time.
Yeah, definitely it hits a lot of marks for sure. I did fall asleep, but
I give it a firm 8. Good movie. It was a romp all the way through.
Yeah.
Felt good.
Gave you that dose of bean that you needed.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason it's not a 10 is because I was disappointed with what they did with his character. You know? He's like such a strong man. Give him the credit he deserves.
I really am going to need you to workshop this fantastic Mr. Bean costume that you have going on.
Yeah.
And again, it's not Mr. Bean. It's not that Mr. Bean. The other one.
And if you could kind of award one of the voice actors in this movie for, really bringing the clay to life, who would you shout out?
I liked Meryl in this a lot, but I think, honestly, probably my favorite performance from someone was Willem Dafoe, for sure. Yeah. It was just that southern twang. He just really got me. Yeah, no, I liked Ash's voice actor as well. I was gonna say he really brought the unloved son.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ash for sure. He has like that the deadpan, but also like deeply enraged
child. Yeah. Willem Dafoe is
this what every 14-year-old boy feels like?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, he hit that mark.
Most definitely.
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman is Ash. Yeah, for sure. Him and Willem Dafoe are my big shout outs. Speaking of fantastic Mr. Fox as a whole, I guess. I don't know how to do segues, but I'm trying to promote that I have a fantastic Mr. Fox themed pin on my Wes Anderson pin set, 3 pins. I have a bunch of different themed pin sets up on my Etsy, as well as we have merch and the website. We have tote bags, we have stickers, we have hand-painted pins, and we're trying to sell it all to fucking support the podcast. Shit. We're trying to get
we're gonna get a new mic.
Yeah, we're trying to get new equipment and
more than one microphone too would be.
Yeah, see how we all sound a little bit different? That could be changed with your purchase of a tote bag. But so check out our website, theswamppodcast.com. We also are on Twitter and Instagram at theswamppod. You can email us, theswamppod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts about claymation. Do you hate it? Do you love it? What do you think about this movie? Do you think voice actors should be hired for roles instead of celebrities? Would you eat a foie gras donut? Shout us out. What do you think?
Would you stomp that field mouse for $5 million?
Next month we're doing Oscars month, right?
Yeah, because it's going to be award season. It's a vibe. Yeah. We're a movie podcast.
So, what we're looking to do is shout out some snubbed Oscar-worthy movies.
Yeah.
So if any of you guys have some
notable snubs,
some opinions there, please feel free to send them in to us. We'd love to review them.
Yeah, I'd love to shout out some of what you guys think are some of the big snubs of all time. So definitely write us in with what you think should have been awarded, or if you just think that the award season is a sham in general, kind of like we do. You know, we love to hate the Academy here in this house, but we will be setting Frances McDormand up for a Academy Award in acting in the near future with her reprisal of the role of Bean's wife. So Frances, we'll have our people talk to your people, and you're gonna have to work on walking downstairs with a lot of power and some slacks. Yeah.